Hello everyone, welcome back to another Big Finish review. Today I'm reviewing Torchwood Salvage. Now, this is the first time I'm reviewing a Torchwood monthly range story, but I'm not new to this range. I have been an avid listener for many years now. Now, I was super intrigued for this one for the month since it's been announced. This isn't a spoiler, but it is the second time in Torchwood at Big Finish that Yanto isn't Yanto, but we get Gareth David Lloyd voicing the SUV. Just in case you don't know, the other time I'm referencing a character that he technically voiced but was Yanto but wasn't, then I won't spoil it. It's, there's no point. A little Easter egg as well is that they've used a picture of the real SUV and its real state when it was found a few years ago, I believe, rusting away somewhere. I can't remember if it was in someone's garden or I don't know. There is a story about that, but it's a little hard to find details. Regardless, I thought it was really cool how they incorporated that into the cover. I wonder if it inspired the story. I'm not sure. But the cover is also full of Easter eggs, and considering there's no visual trailer for this story, they don't do them for these. Obviously, the image you'll be looking at for this whole review will basically just be the cover art. I haven't actually got a full clean version, but I managed to get this screen grab, which you should be seeing now, from an audio trailer they released where it basically shows all of the cover. And yeah, there is a lot to spot, and I'm not going to go into list every single Easter egg because that's not what this video is about. You can see them for yourself. I'll quickly read you the synopsis and then begin to give you my thoughts. Esther and Cody are on the run from their care home. Esther wants to find their parents. Cody wants to finish the latest series of his podcast. Stumbling on a junkyard of alien artifacts, Esther and Cody's lives take a sudden turn. Scrap merchant Jed has spent years trying to awaken a particularly sullen object, but the Torchwood SUV has a message for Esther and Cody. Because these are spoiler-free, I won't be getting into the actual plot in any sort of spoilery manner. Yes, the odd detail, or it will be impossible to do a decent review without just basically having this whole video be me saying, yep, it's good, or no, it's not good. There will be a few little things, but nothing that ruins the plot, so don't worry. The Torchwood monthly range, or bi-monthly now, I'm saying that with a massive hope that it will continue past this, has always been a soft spot of mine for the years that I've been investing in it. If you haven't listened to it and haven't watched Torchwood, it's a type of series where you can just pick up any number and have a good story and a good time. I can only think of a handful of duds in the 96 episodes we now have that just aren't amazing. The only ones I haven't listened to are the Queen Victoria ones because they just don't interest me, so I can't comment on those. But yeah, they are an investment. For usually about an hour-long story, it's about a tenner for each, so I think the older ones are a bit cheaper now, mainly because they've sold out on CD, so you can only get them on download. This one I got for specifically £14, I think, including postage, possibly £14.99. So obviously you do want to make sure that with that sort of money, you're getting a decent story. Obviously they have to charge that because, a lot goes into making these audios a reality. People need to be paid, It's valid. But obviously you want to know your money is going to something good. And yeah, I'll get straight to the point in this case regarding money. Is this one worth it? Yes. The stories in this range are never too complex, and they really immerse you and make just the whole world feel grounded, And obviously, it is a part of the universe, so it just helps that, Doctor Who, I feel like it always does shine when it's, Earth-based and just real, grounded in reality. That's, I think, why partially that series 1 of the revival did so well with Eccleston and Billy Piper, because it was very much, there was very almost not soap opera elements like that, but because it was, soap opera's writing can tend to be hit and miss, but it was just writing that was relatable. It made characters relatable, and even if you can't relate specifically to certain characters in these Torchwood stories, for example, it just feels real. I don't know how else to explain it. Hopefully I make some form of sense. Not only does it expand Torchwood's lore with characters like Susie, Gwen, Owen, Yanto, Tosh, and Jack, and more recently Mr. Colchester and Tyler Steele, and even other niche Big Finish only creations and characters like, what's his name? Oh no, I've forgotten. That's really bad. Norton Folgate, I didn't actually look it up in the end, believe me or not. It did just come to my mind, played by Samuel Barnett. So yeah, Norton Folgate also has a few stories, along with Andy Davidson as well. I forgot to mention him as well, that random police officer side character. But he was like a side character in the original Torchwood live-action series. He's actually been really well written in a lot of Big Finish stuff. So yeah, it's crazy how, how writers can just make such small characters just give them so much more depth. It's why I love this range. And yeah, if you don't know who characters like Mr. Colchester, Tyler Steele, Norton Folgate, if you don't know who they are, Norton Folgate, he's Torchwood 1950s, that's a whole Big Finish creation, and Mr. Colchester and Tyler Steele are from the Torchwood team after Yanto died in the show, and after Gwen and Jack, they reformed it with bunch of new people, but that's from Big Finish's Series 5 continuation onwards. I won't get into that now. They also have stories where sometimes there's no character that you recognise in it and it's something completely unique. Admittedly, those are experimental and don't always work out, but when they do, it's brilliant. Especially, you should think of this audio range of Torchwood stories as just some really good sci-fi that tackles a lot of emotional beats and real-life issues in the stories, because it follows an anthology format. Every story is unique and separate, aside from an Autumn 2-part they did a few years back. I only actually ever bought part 1, I never bought part 2, so I can't really comment on how good that is. It means you can technically listen to it without having any prior knowledge of Torchwood, or even Doctor Who, because it genuinely just can be consumed as really good audio entertainment. Anyway, that was more of a side discussion on the actual range itself. Let's go back to the story. We follow Esther and Cody. We also have another character called Jed, who the episode opens with. He really wants to get into the SUV. He serves as the threat for this episode. There's no alien. He's a very, very angry man, to put it lightly. Is his character slightly overacted? Maybe, yes, but we don't really know what the intention was. I'm assuming it was what we got with his performance in the end. I guess it can feel a little over the top and overacted, but I think that's probably the point. It does, however, as well, ring home how insane his character is and was, being driven by not being able to get the SUV open. But in general, I think he was just a bit mental before that. Is that a spoiler? No. I mean, if you think it is, then I apologise, but it's very hard to review without saying small details like that. None of the major is being spoiled in this, as I've said, so don't worry. So, the two go on a journey in the SUV. That's pretty much what this whole episode is. I'm unsure when this episode is meant to be set. It's obviously long after Torchwood used the SUV, so maybe set in, like, modern day. Cody uses the word slay a lot, which, I mean, that would be telling that it would be set in 2025, but who knows. The timeline of Torchwood with Big Finish, if we follow the main series, the story continues. Comparing to this range can get a little confusing, so try not to think too much about it. Just place it wherever you think it's set in your head canon. I don't think it's going to matter. Despite some of the tension, humour in this is also very well written. Gareth has just offered a fair few things in this range now, and they've all been so tremendously written. He wrote the trilogy of Yanto stories we got, I believe it was last year, which were very consistent throughout and good, all separate still, but just, obviously, he knows how to write for Yanto. I mean, he played Yanto, who better, He's really helped develop some of his lore, and obviously this isn't technically a Yanto story, but he wrote it, gets a star in it as the SUV, and yeah, this one's no different. A great balance of dark humour, drama, but also some hard-hitting emotional scenes. The character writing for these two unknown characters to us is top-notch, and throughout this story, they go through a little character arc as well. Obviously, I won't get into how, but it's very good. Big Finish works when you're setting an audio in a car. It just does, trust me on it. It's not just in a car, but predominantly is. In a nutshell, 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed it, and I've only listened once, For all we know, my review might bump up even higher afterwards, but point is, the re-listen value is definitely going to be good, and I highly recommend buying. I'm not one to, oversell something or over-compliment it. Like, if it's good, it's good. If it's crap, it's crap, But yeah, this was just really good. This range does need support as well, and I really want it to keep being made, and lots of other people do as well. But if you have never even heard it, but you want to support it anyway because you're interested in it, definitely consider buying this one. The link will be below. Side note, towards the end, they play Owen's theme because he comes up in conversation. Oh my god, it always breaks me. They do that a lot throughout this range, because obviously you have some stories set where he's been dead for a while or recently, and then you've obviously got some where he's actually in. Byrne hasn't done any Big Finish in years, and it's really annoying because I really want some more from him, because Owen is just such a different character in the Doctor Who universe, and he goes on a journey. Do you know what I mean? He goes deep down. In Torchwood Series 1, he's very iffy. Series 2 onwards, and in Big Finish especially, he's very well written. He's probably one of my favourites. But it's hard to have a favourite because they're all so bloody good. And once you've listened to a lot of their stories in this range, you'll know exactly what I mean. Like, they all get so much to do. But yeah, I miss the old team. So that was my spoiler-free review for Torchwood Salvage. Very long one, but there's just a lot to say. So if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. And hoping this range continues, I will review more. Until the next time, thanks for watching.